Okay, this is Coffee with the Kays, episode 3, right? Episode 3. And we have our very first guest right here, John Crane. So everybody, welcome John Crane to the show.
Welcome, John.
Welcome, John.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
All right, and we have coffee. Here we go.
Coffee.
All right, very good.
There we
Very
go.
good. So, welcome. If you haven't seen us before, go check out all of our other episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts. But we are here. We talk about coffee. We talk about music and a bunch of stuff in between. So welcome to our show. And today we are drinking coffee from Timore-Leste. Timore-Leste coffee.
Where
Okay,
is
so
that
Josh,
located?
tell us about the
Okay.
Timor-Leste.
This was not scripted at all.
Where is Timor-Leste?
Yeah.
Good question.
Have you ever wondered?
Yes. Well, okay. So this is the story. So I was watching the Olympics, and I think it was the Summer Olympics. I don't think it was the Winter Olympics. I can't remember because they were like real close to each other this year. So I was watching the Olympics, and in walked these two athletes, and they said they're from this country, Timor-Leste, or they might have said East Timor. I can't remember because I've seen both names before. So I had never heard of that country before. So of course I launched down the rabbit trail of research and learning about it. And they really just recently became an independent nation in the year 2002. Is when they became independent nation. It's an island, kind of towards Malaysia, like around that area. And it was 400 years was under Portuguese rule, and then eventually they kind of had 3 years of transitions. It was Indonesian occupation, and then they have essentially gained their independence from Indonesia, and about 3 years they became their own independent country, but they're not even the full island. It's like half the island.
Oh, really?
Is Timor-Leste? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like brand new and just getting started with government and all of this stuff. So there's been a lot of like private funding and stuff that's been going on to help boost that government. But the number 2 biggest economic industry, part of their industry, is coffee. And so that's what led to this. All of their coffee is certified organic across the whole country. That's the only way that they do it. And the biggest investor in the coffee is Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
So,
How about that?
yeah. So Starbucks employs a lot of the families that are
great.
doing the
So
coffee.
can you
there.
get this at Starbucks?
You can, and it's part of their Starbucks Reserve collection,
Oh.
and so it's only available certain times of the year and that kind of a thing. So of course, after reading all of this, I was like, okay, I got to get my hands on some of this coffee, and it was hard to find. It was hard to find in the United States, but there was one roaster in Florida. It was called Blessed Bean is the name of their roasting company, and it's seems like it's small, but when you look at what they offer and they sell wholesale and stuff, it looks like it's probably a pretty big production.
Yeah.
It's just owned by one guy, and he still runs the roaster himself. He roasts it himself. He's the only one who does it.
Wow.
And then he must have other people that work for him, and stuff to get it out. So yeah, ordered a couple bags and said, hey, let's try it.
On the podcast.
On the podcast with John. Yeah.
right.
There we go.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
that.
So
Well, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
It's light. Again, it's not.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's not
Good
bitter.
coffee flavor.
Folgers it ain't.
There you go. Well, and Josh made all of them with the pour over, right?
yeah, I
Yes.
did the pour up. Now I did mine with the AeroPress just because we was running a little-
special.
Yeah. Well, it was quick, and I was like, by that point, because it had taken like 20 minutes to get everything done and set up, and they were out here doing great podcast material. I'm saying, going, oh, stop talking,
Yes.
stop talking. This is
Well,
awesome.
yeah, we're done. So I mean, we're.
Yeah, that's it. All right, good night, folks. Have a good day. Yeah.
Check
Good
in
show.
next week.
Yeah. But see, this is the stuff though. Like I was sitting there making the coffee, and I was hearing all you guys talk, and I was like, this is why I love coffee and coffee houses and stuff like that, because that's the thing is you get
You
together
sit
with
and
people
talk.
and you sit and you talk and you
Yeah.
share stories, and you know, it's just a great, you know, way of spending time together.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's how we actually, in case anybody doesn't know, how we started the podcast. We would come home from school, and Josh and I would get a cup of coffee, Ron would get a cup of coffee, and we'd sit at the table and talk about our day or the day coming up, the students, you know, oh my gosh, I have John tonight. What am I No, I'm just kidding.
It was
I'm
one
just
time.
kidding. And we would discuss, you know, music, and then of course, if
So we
football season.
probably should tell people that John is a student of ours, or has been a
Yeah,
student. He's a friend first and foremost, okay? But
And a great guy.
yeah, they're all around great.
So
American.
how long have you been taking lessons?
5 years at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah.
it was longer than that.
It
yeah.
probably is.
Yeah.
I like the idea of bringing John
6%.
on because he's got such a rich story. Like even your history without the music. You know, you were a pilot
Yeah.
in the Air Force.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, how did you get interested in learning to play an instrument?
It was interesting. In high school, I believe I played the string bass for
Oh, yeah.
about 4 years, and and then after that, I went to college, and you know, all of that just went by the wayside. You know,
yeah.
it just didn't. You know, life kind of gets in the way at times, and you know, you keep putting it off. You run across situations where, boy, I wish I knew knew how to do that and what have you. And then I started working out at UWF and retired from there as well. And then finally, I said, you know, now's a good time to start.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you want me to go into this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, go for it.
Started with the banjo.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me almost a year to realize that was a mistake.
Oh.
And that's
Yeah.
not to say.
You offended your banjo, did you?
Yeah.
You opened up the case and it said no.
Yeah.
You were like, okay.
So you know, when you're been away from music other than through a radio for that long, you lose touch with, you know, banjo. You kind of really have to understand what a banjo is for before you actually sit down and devote yourself to starting to play it, because it's more of a rhythm instrument, or at least as much a rhythm instrument as anything else.
100%.
And when you don't have any rhythm,
Yeah.
it's challenging.
Well, it's funny because did you know that at the beginning when you first started playing, or was that something that you figured out after learning the other instruments that you've learned?
I learned it. I learned that lesson while I was playing the banjo, and I'll repeat the story because I went on a cruise that was a banjo instruction cruise, you know, and the instructor was just a great guy and has his own website. But to make a long story short, I sat down in this room with him, and he's, you know, I don't know what's the standard starting banjo tone.
Oh, like Cripple Creek.
Cripple Creek. There you go. So we started, you know, I said, yeah, I kind of think I know that. And he says, okay, well, I'll back you up. He had a guitar, and I'll back you up.
Okay. Yeah.
And we went through this, you know, and he said, boy, that was really good. He says, I don't know if you noticed or not, though, you finished before I did. And I went, really? No, I really didn't notice that. And that's when the light bulb came on, you know, that, boy, this is a complex journey,
Yeah.
to put it mildly.
There you go.
Complex journey,
There you go.
but fun.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, definitely. So you came to us with guitar, right? That was
Yeah, I had just transitioned from the banjo to the guitar, and I'll just throw this out there. I had obviously an instructor prior to the KAYE'S in music instruction, and I knew that I needed to make a change when I walked into the lesson one day, and my instructor says, "Well, what do you want to work on today?"
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm paying you for. You know,
Right.
I don't have. You know, if I knew that, I might not even need instruction.
Isn't there
Right.
some kind of progression or method? Or,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And I just can't. You know, with the last, it probably has been at least 6 years now.
Yeah, I'm thinking at
Yeah.
least.
And boy, you can't survive this without a plan. You know, I
Right,
mean,
right.
because you know, we've had this discussion many times. You start to learn one song, and 6 to 8 months later,
Yeah.
you may know the song, but that's all you know.
That's
That's
all
it.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
and that's been a huge, to me, a theme of the week for my students is actually the last couple of weeks is what are we supposed to be learning from this song? Like it's in the method book. What are the things you're trying to learn? The skills that you want to get from that song that can progress you to another level in your playing.
Yeah, the focus is on the skills.
It's on the
Skill
skills.
versus
Yep.
drill.
Right.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
You look at it as a drill.
Ooh.
Skill
not
versus
gaining.
drill. Ah, man.
Ron Kaye's music instructor.
There's
Very good.
There we go. We need to make shirts. Yeah,
Yeah.
skill versus drill. All right, but that's what it is. I had a student last week. It was the same issue, and he's been on. There's a song that we've been learning. He's been on it for
Oh my gosh!
3
Wait,
months.
I know who you're.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Long time.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
it's well.
We
And-
won't
and
say
you,
any names.
You know because you've been there. We've all been there before. So he pretty much spent the first month doing it wrong, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then eventually realized what he was doing wrong, what he was counting wrong, or playing the wrong notes or whatever. And then it took time. Then you got to undo the bad habit,
Yep.
and then replace it with the new habit. And so it was just
And play it slow.
Right, it was-
And use the metronome.
right.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that I saw a turnout because he finally got the song right.
Yes.
Woohoo.
But here's the thing: not only did he get the song, I started him. The song is 150. I started him at 60, and we went from 60 and every little bit all the way up. Over the course of it was probably about 30 minutes. It wasn't that long, but I mean over the course of time, we just little by little until eventually, and then we did the entire thing up to speed. Didn't miss a beat. Everything
That's a
was there.
concept that people they just don't either never heard of or don't understand. That if you can play it slow and steady, that gives you a reference point for any tempo you're going to play it at. So if you do it, at 60, and you play it slow, then you do it at 80. When you start at 80, you have something to remind you what it should sound like. It's
Right.
just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you make that little adjustment, and you keep on doing that until you get it up to tempo, and then you got it. But people don't do that. Sometimes they don't do that mental inventory, because that's what you have to do when you're doing it slow. Is you gotta listen to what's going on, and you gotta take an inventory of what's happening with your hands or your feet or whatever, and to make it smooth and steady. And then you'll progress and get it, and that's what led to that guy's success, and
There you go.
we were all happy that he did it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, what happens is you develop the muscle memory. If you play it at 60, you're developing that muscle memory. So I've had a lot of students. I'll say, they'll play their song at 60, and then I'll say, well, did you try it at 80? And they're like, no, but I'll give it a shot. And then they nail it because they've got it down at 60, and the muscle memory's there, and then they're able to progress pretty quickly.
When you shoot for 120, 130 beats per minute, you're like trying to jump on a moving train. Yeah, there's a chance you could make it, but there's a chance you could get completely wiped out.
Yeah.
One thing I would add to that as well, and I've had this problem numerous times, and that is that, you got this song, maybe you're supposed to play it at 120, 150, what have you, and you launch into it every time you sit down and play at 100. And you're having problems, but it's not bad, and so on and so forth. So you keep drilling it at 100.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, and then maybe you'll try to go back to 60, and it's really, really hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
The reason for that is you don't know the song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And second of all, if you keep banging at it at 100, you're just reinforcing bad habits.
There you go.
And you're learning how to do it wrong over and over and over
There you
again,
go.
and it gets even more difficult. But yeah, so if you're thinking about starting a musical instrument, go for it.
There you go.
Yes.
But the early stages are easy because the early music is easy.
Right.
But as it gets more complicated, it's learning how to practice is the key.
Yes,
Oh, there
that's
you
true.
go.
A big
That's
time.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about it at one of your lessons just recently.
Yeah.
We were talking about learning how to practice.
Oh yeah. I mean, mean, I don't know how to play the instrument, let alone practice playing instruments. You know? I mean, so.
Well, and you know, kind of along the lines of what we were talking about, with just some kind of misconceptions about what it is to learn an instrument or how to play an instrument. You know, it's funny because you said, like, you know, going to somebody and they say, well, what do you want to learn? And you're like, well, I don't know, you know. And it's like, I think that sometimes I've met people who feel like, well, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, that's how, you know, learning an instrument is supposed to be. I tell you I want to learn this, and then you teach me, and then I learn it, you know. And then, but it's a bigger
Stairway to heaven.
Right. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Everybody wants to learn that.
Exactly.
Freebird.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they look at, okay, you want me to go through these exercises, and it gets frustrating, and it doesn't come right away. Whereas if I could play a song, I'll have fun. You know, but the deal is you can't play the song.
Right. That's,
you know,
that's the problem. Yeah.
That's an important thing to add into
Trust
your
me.
thinking, you know. And you have to go back and you have to do the work and gain the skills, and then you can play the song accurately at any tempo.
Right.
I had a student this week went ahead in his book, in his lessons, and we went from quarter notes to eighth notes, and he looked at the eighth notes and he said, "Oh, those must be double strokes." So he practiced the whole week doing double strokes for every time there was an eighth note there.
Oh man!
And I was like, man, you gotta stop doing that, because when his whole lesson was undoing all the damage that he did.
Yep.
And you know, people are excited, and they, you know, I'm sure he wanted to think, you know, I don't want to let you down. I want to get in there and smoke this stuff.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, if you practice it wrong, then it's like, okay, we got to spend half your lesson undoing those bad habits you
Right.
now.
And that's just what you said. So, John, you play the guitar now, and also are taking piano lessons.
Piano lessons as well. Yes.
So how does it compare?
Instrument overload.
There you go.
Is there such a thing?
So how did you did guitar for a while before you started piano, correct?
Oh yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, at least.
And I don't know why. Maybe it's our. Occasionally we would sit down and talk theory, and you would make a comment here and there about, okay, this is what the chord looks like on the piano, and I go, hey, okay, that makes sense, you know,
right? Just visually,
just visually, boom, it's there, which is much harder to do with the guitar.
Absolutely.
And plus, for what this is all worth, my grandfather was a pretty phenomenal musician. Had his own orchestra years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And was a piano, guy from the get go.
That's awesome.
And so I said, you know what? Maybe you add something there. Let's see how that works out.
Yeah.
There you go.
So here we are. So now I practice 2 different instruments a week. Which is I don't think we want to start a third anytime soon.
Yeah.
You don't want to take voice lessons?
Yeah.
Well, we teach a lot of older people music lessons, and I think that when you first talk to them about practice, they're like, "Man, I'm retired. I got
plenty
nothing
of time.
to do."
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, but now you got to be willing to put the work in, because
you got to focus that practice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Focus that time. Really.
Because sometimes people, they don't feel like practicing. They don't set a regular practice time. I always tell people, tie it to something you do at the same time every day. If you walk your dog at 5 o'clock, then at 5:30 practice time, and then put your time in faithfully. And if it's tied to that thing you do automatically, it's going to have a better chance of becoming a permanent place in your life.
Oh yeah.
And it works out.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any difficulty, like when you first started with that, like finding time to practice or making sure it was consistent or anything like that?
It's my starting times are more consistent now than they were a few years ago. I never really had much difficulty convincing myself to put in at least a little bit of practice every day. And obviously, I don't care if it's only 10 minutes, do it, that kind of, those are words, that you've repeated many times.
Absolutely.
But 10 minutes a day isn't going to get it. I'll tell you that, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry. But nonetheless, now it's, 11. Let's see, after we get back from the gym or something like that, we'll go in and I'll practice for a little while, take my old guy's nap, come back later in the afternoon or early evening and put another hour or so, a couple hours after that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's other things in your life that are structured too. Like you said, you go to the gym, so that's you have structure already in your life that you're doing other things that people say, oh, I wish I should go to the gym. I say that sometimes.
Oh, but he has an understanding wife too. Which,
Yes.
She goes to the gym too, so
There you go.
But we've had students where like the wife gets jealous of the husband spending too much time with the instrument,
right?
Like it's another girl or something.
Me playing the instrument is my reaction to my wife spending too much time watching baseball.
You had to find something
Balances
to do.
out.
That's
That's
good. That's very good.
That's great. I love it. But that's because that's what a lot of times you need to support each other. With the things that you're into. Like for that, sure, you support her with baseball or love of baseball, and she allows you to own as many guitars as you do.
Yeah, that's another story in and of itself.
Oh man! All right, well we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Ron Kaye's music instruction has been trusted by thousands in Pensacola to learn, play, and love music. Our strong passion for teaching music provides expert knowledge and guidance which helps you succeed and have fun with your music lessons. Whether it's a bucket list dream or a desire to enhance your child's life, our music lessons are the answer. Call 850-453-9966 now. Realize your musical dreams. Visit musiclessonspensacola.com today.
Back. So John, I said during the break I wanted to ask you about your guitar collection because you've got quite a range of stuff. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about what are some of your favorites? How did you acquire some of them? Give us the rundown. What do you got?
Yeah. Well, I started. I didn't. When you first start, you don't know what you want, and the key is playability and getting something that fits your hands, so to speak, because a classical guitar is really a fat neck, and it's really hard for new people to get their hands around.
Oh yeah.
And electric guitars are really easy to play, but they don't transition quite as well to an acoustic guitar.
Right.
But so I got my first guitar was an Eastman, and not trying to make any plugs here, but it's a really good guitar. I mean, I've got a lot of work, got a lot of stuff out of it. But then I fell into the trap,
the guitar black hole universe.
Yes. You go on YouTube and you hear James Taylor playing, and immediately you say, I gotta have an Olsen guitar.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you have to have an Olsen guitar until you realize they start at about $35,000.
Oh my God!
And none of these guitars that you see these guys play come with a guarantee that says if you buy this guitar, you'll be able to play like this guy does.
That's exactly right.
Well, it took me far too long to figure that one out. But I've actually, in recent years, I've come to realize that I like small body guitars. I like 12 fret guitars. I like a guitar with a cutaway. But the key thing about all of that, for me, is the setup.
Oh yeah.
Because you can have the finest guitar on the planet, and if you've got a 1/2 inch compression to get the string to the fret,
absolutely,
you're going to get tired of that real quick, fast.
But I'll say this morning I was researching for our podcast, and I watched Chet Atkins several songs and he was playing a small body guitar.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of a thin guitar. It was an acoustic guitar, but it was not real big.
Yeah.
And I just found that interesting because
So it wasn't like the arch top, like with the wings, kind of thing. It wasn't like that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I have to look again.
Okay, so like Chet Atkins, so you're a huge Chet Atkins fan.
Chet Atkins fan, big time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
And my latest guitar is the Gretsch 6120, country gentleman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And I got to tell you, folks, it's amazing. You know, it is. Oh, it is. It's sweet. I mean,
So I watched the videos that you sent me earlier in the
Ray
week.
Wicks.
Yeah.
Here's this old gentleman sitting down playing this guitar that I ultimately ended up buying. And it was, you know, you would have paid $150 to attend this show. He was that good.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great.
And he's just banging out these Chet Atkins tunes like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I had no idea who this guy was. And then the other thing that killed me is he's turning to his wife saying, "Dear, are you going to let me buy it? This is the greatest guitar I've ever played." You know, and I said, "Wait, what? How?" You know, and anyway, I did a lot of research online, looked him up. And there's not a lot at Ray Wicks, W-I-X, and he played with Chet Atkins, has been compared many times to him as far as skill level and all that sort of stuff, and he's just an amazing guy. And he walked out of the store without buying the guitar, and I said, well, I still cling to my old adage, if I buy the guitar, maybe I can play like this. Trust me, it still doesn't work, but it's a nice guitar.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you're on the way though. You're learning. You know, you're getting angry.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Oh, it
That's
is.
it.
Definitely.
That's it. But yeah, that guitar was it sounds amazing, and it doesn't. So like the pickup switch, that's what I was seeing about it. It's not like a lot of these other pickup switches where it's like, you know, it all comes out the one pickup and then you move it to another.
Yeah, there's no tone buttons on
There's
this.
no tone.
There's no tone buttons on this thing, or knobs.
Yeah.
But there is a switch up on the front, which in the middle is the clean sound of the guitar. Down is the bass is accentuated a little bit. Up gives you a jazzier, richer tune sound, you know, and
A warmer sound.
Warmer sound, yeah.
Sounds like a standard 5-way switch, you know.
But it's only in the 3, and it's not like
because there's a pickup selector that's separate from that.
Oh, okay.
So you're not I know what you're saying, but it's not like you're selecting the neck versus the bridge pickup or anything like that. It's two different switches.
It's like an EQ.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah, it operates like an EQ. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I'll come do a lesson at the house. I do a lot of online lessons, folks, and it's great. Yeah. But I'll bring it to the house sometime and let you.
I'd love it. Yeah, that'd be great.
So what John means about that is his lessons are remote.
Yes.
So he
with us.
Yeah, with us.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So when we switched to all remote when COVID started, John continued staying remote after we opened back up, which a lot of our students did because it was a successful way to continue taking lessons, not have to drive add time to your lessons. And
did you see any drop off between, you know, when you were taking lessons in person versus going online, you know, when
there initially was a method to my madness, thinking that, well, Josh won't see these mistakes I'm making. Trust me, that doesn't work.
No.
That's it.
No, because Josh would say,
man.
move the camera over a little
Yeah.
bit so I can see. Yeah.
Man, like,
I heard that.
I'm hearing something. Let me just see.
There you go.
That's
That's
funny.
it. Very
That's
good.
funny.
No, I actually, you know, it's for me, it works out great. You know, there's the, you know, I did my experience at University of West Florida was along the lines of online instruction and what have you, and there's a lot of people who simply don't want to believe that you can do it through a computer easily as well, and sometimes better than you can do it face to face.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are insulted by that, but I'm here to tell you, it may not be for you. You know, it may not be. You know, you may like the social / interactive environment. You know, which is great. You know, me, I'm a recluse and I hate people. And I find it. You know, and it's convenient.
It's
convenient.
convenient.
It's incredibly convenient.
There's a stigma some people seem to have about doing remote lessons that you just, it's hard to explain to them. It's all in your head. Because if you do it right, it's just like you're being there in person, you know?
Absolutely is. I absolutely can't agree more. I've stuck with it. I mean, you know, because how many years did I drive back and forth to the house?
Oh yeah, exactly.
And
well, and it was interesting because you know, one of the things about doing it online is like it's not necessarily new, like this technology of being able to, do video chat and, things like that, and just all of the resources that are available. It's not necessarily new. It's, new for some people because they had to do it. Like it got, with the pandemic and everything, it kind of got shoved to the forefront.
Yeah.
Now of like, okay, we have no choice. Everything's shut down. We have to do things remotely. But a lot of this technology has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And when I was when all of this first kicked up a couple of years ago, I was taking that community music class
Right,
from
at
Boston
Boston.
Boston University, and we the professor was so great because he recognized like immediately, like before we all did, like how this was going to be a while, like, and he told us we had a Zoom meeting, class, one day when everything, for first lockdown and all that stuff first started happening, and he told everybody, he's like, look, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen stuff like this before. I've got friends that are entomologists, this is not going anywhere. This is going to be around for a while.
Online instruction.
Yeah.
Because I have to be the first to admit, I wouldn't want my neurologist.
Yeah.
Oh, well, right.
There you go.
100%. Yeah.
Well, and it does have to do with your internet connection at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a dial-up,
Oh yeah.
don't expect it to be that great,
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you have the cheapest package that you could possibly get away with, you might have some issues. Maybe not, but
Yeah.
that's what we run across, is that if you got good internet, it's just like being in person.
Yeah,
Well,
which is also, I mean, if you have really, really good eyeballs, you could do it on your cell phone.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. I have a
We have a
student.
lot of students. that do
We
that.
have a lot of students that just use a cell phone. I had a student that tried to do it on the computer, and it was actually better on the cell phone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do it on the cell phone now. But that was the thing. So there was a study that was done that I ended up using for research paper. That it was like 10-year study that was done, where it was exploring the effects of social interaction online, like not face to face, and it showed that essentially the findings from the study were that people still felt like they were part of a community.
Yeah.
They still felt special. They still felt friends, like the same way when they would meet people in person. When they went to their online groups and communities, they had the same, like their brains were firing the same way and stuff. And so it showed that the social aspect that some people are worried about
Right.
when it comes to doing things online, it just isn't there.
Right.
It is all about too what you put into it. If you just open up the screen and sit there,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here, and that kind of thing, then you're not going to get anything out of it. But if you're actively, pursuing the relationship, whether it's student teacher relationship or it's friend relationship or whatever it is, the online connectivity, it's just another way to connect.
Yeah.
But you're still getting the same the same feelings and the same as any kind of social interaction. So when it comes to lessons, that can be an important part of learning an instrument, is getting along with your instructor and having that interaction like that.
And relationship.
100%.
Yeah.
And so so that isn't diminished. It doesn't seem, and it's not just a study, but it's been our personal experience that doesn't diminish just because
I wouldn't
we're
think
using
so.
a computer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, this was some great talking about music and discipline and lessons and guitars.
So
and,
speaking of discipline, you notice how I didn't say anything about the Browns this whole time?
yes, I was very
Okay.
disciplined.
That's
of you.
discipline,
That was
man.
very good.
You're probably busting at the seams over there.
Oh, we started and I was going, okay, so we just signed Sheldon Day and we signed Javon Smith, and I'm like going through all the free agency signings that just happened, and I was like, okay,
Well,
stop it.
We
Not
could talk
talking-
about it more in
not
the
talking
next
about-
podcast.
Right.
We
That's,
can-
that's it.
Allow me to address a little comment here about
Okay,
the Browns, because
do
it's
your
coming.
do your thing.
Okay, here he goes.
Okay, so I have a wait and see approach to the Browns now.
Mm-hmm.
They got to prove themselves to me.
Okay.
You know, as far as the front office and ownership making this very controversial move to get that new quarterback.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he's up there talking about he's going to bring Super Bowl after Super
Multiple
Bowl.
Super Bowls.
Yeah, right off the bat, I think he's full of crap. Who's going to make those kind of claims, man?
Yeah.
I mean, you, one person, are actually going to bring about such a dramatic change that we're just going to be, you know, reigning champions for years to come.
Does he think he's LeBron James or something?
I know, right?
I don't even think LeBron James would do that. I mean,
LeBron James did that.
He said he would try. That was
He
his
would
goal.
bring a
He said he was going to bring a championship to Cleveland,
That
and
was
then
his
he did
goal.
it. And then
Yeah.
he did it. So I mean,
Josh, it was his goal.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a goal he said. This guy didn't say
So you
it
didn't
as a
take
goal.
it the same way.
No, he said because I'm here, it's
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference, you know. And he's getting paid, I mean, obnoxious amount of money.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know,
It's a lot.
and
Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, he's getting guaranteed. What is it? It's like over 200 million guaranteed.
Yeah, he's the highest
insane.
paid
But it's like
quarterback
over the course of 5
in
years.
the NFL.
Yeah, he is now officially the highest paid quarterback in the
Yeah.
NFL. So
And he's very controversial. He's you know, got himself in a position where he's getting sued by all these masseuses he had hired.
Oh boy.
22 masseuses over 5 years or something,
like
3
that.
years,
Yeah.
something like
So
that.
there's controversy,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you take the most controversial person you could find on the planet in the NFL, and you're going to sign them at the highest astronomical limit that you could possibly do. And according to the owner, Dee Haslam, she knew that it was going to be a hard sell and people were going to be upset, but once she talked to him, everything was fine.
Yeah.
that's she wasn't the only one who said that. That was Andrew.
I know,
Barry
because I
said
think
that,
that's
and
the
that was-
talking
that
points
was
they
the
pass
line.
around. Which,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding me.
Well,
man.
maybe they'll let him out from prison every now and then to practice.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Show up for the
no,
game.
my
I mean,
gosh.
I mean, he might be innocent, but just the controversy sticking to him. Why would you do with the Browns of all organizations, man? They got more troubles with PR than anybody ever.
Well, and I think the problem that I see with this move is exactly what you just said. See, we've been, fans. I mean, obviously, like your whole life, most of my life, and so being a part of this journey and seeing all of the problems that we've had.
Yes.
These guys that are in position to make the decisions were not here when all of that Ray Farmer stuff was going on.
and they don't even
Freddie
care to look
Kitchens, and
back.
that's
History
right.
means nothing.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. They're like, we're not them, so
Yeah.
we should do whatever we want.
But we
so.
have a lot of history. There's a lot of history there.
Heartbreaking
And,
history.
yeah.
But what I have seen this week is that, and Andrew Barry had his press conference, a couple days ago. They're trying to solidify specific pieces of the team that they feel like are going to be, they're really good players and they're going to be cornerstones. So, Myles Garrett is guaranteed for the next 2 or 3 years. Denzel Ward is guaranteed for the next 3 or 4 years. Who was the other one? Nick Chubb, guaranteed for the next few years.
And that's hoping that they don't get injured.
Well, that's what it is.
you
Wyatt
know.
Teller, for the next few years, so there's these certain pieces. Greg Newsome, that good players that and Deshaun Watson is on that list that they want to make sure they have sustained. And Andrew Barry keeps talking about sustained success. So they're kind of throwing all their eggs in these.
I hope they got
baskets here,
backups for all those people.
I know.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
They get last
As
year they
we've
got
seen.
hurt everywhere, man.
absolutely. As we've
Everybody
seen.
got hurt.
Right.
Well, I just don't like the off season and all the speculation. So I'm with Dad. I'm on a wait and see
Wait and
kind
see.
of thing. Yeah.
You got to prove it to me now, man.
Well, we got the draft coming up, and we don't have high picks, but we got a few picks, and so we'll see what
see what
happens
they
with
do.
that, and that'll be good. So.
That was a brief Browns talk.
brief Browns talk.
Very good.
Well,
So
we didn't
were-
mention Denzel Ward.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Cor-
Yeah, cornerback.
Cornerback, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's our habit is to pay them the highest we could pay in the whole NFL. People wonder why your ticket prices are so expensive.
Yeah. Well,
Cleveland Browns,
200 million. Whew.
No, that's crazy.
I can't imagine how many guitars I'd own with that.
Yeah, right.
There you go. That's great.
There you go.
And they can't even
great.
guarantee that he's not going to, be able to make it through the whole season.
Well, I mean, he made it through all last season. I mean, he proved himself. He's proven
Denzel
himself.
Ward.
Oh no, I'm talking about the quarterback.
Oh yeah, Watson. Yeah, well, that's the thing. So we got Jacoby Brissett as the
He hasn't
backup.
played for a year. On top of all that,
Yeah.
he hasn't played for a year.
It's just too controversial.
If they don't do the preseason games, they get hurt all over the place on the first game.
Yeah, I know.
And he's been out for a whole year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm
That's it.
waiting.
Wait
Well,
and see.
I'll be the first
That's what
one
you
to
said.
admit if he starts winning us Super Bowls, then I'll change my tune and
All right.
apologize to him publicly. And-
There you go.
There you go.
but I think it was like a really careless move.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. See what happens. So, all right. There was our Browns talk. Small segment.
There you go. That was good.
Very
I think
controlled.
that's good.
It was
Yes.
controlled.
Yes.
Yep.
No tempers flaring. We were good.
Good.
We have a guest, so we have
were
to
respectful.
That's
have to
right.
tone it
Nobody
down.
threw anything.
Nobody threw anything. That's it. But you're not. You were saying before you're not a huge football fan, but you're into baseball. Well, but that's Kathy. You're because of Kathy, right? Got you into baseball.
Kathy's my wife, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's, might as well mention that. Yeah, that's it. So
She's not my masseuse.
Oh man. So what team did y'all root for?
She's primarily the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago.
Yeah,
That's good.
She's
There you
hardcore
go.
Cub fan,
There you go.
and
Her and a whole bunch of other people.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
absolutely. How are they looking this year?
miserable.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not. Although they won like 18-0 against
Oh my
yesterday. Yeah,
Wow.
it was
Really?
like it's, but it was freak occurrence.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to do that every day by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not. This is their rebuilding year, I think.
Yeah, we
They've
know
been
that.
in a rebuilding
just like
as long
last
as the
year,
Browns.
the year before
Yeah,
that.
oh man, tell me about it. As Browns fans, we know that all too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, hopefully they get some good pieces. See what happens. So, yeah. Do you guys enjoy going to the Wahoo's games?
We're going today, obviously.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that we haven't been as much as we wanted. I don't know why. It's just. But I think with this, maybe we'll start going more often because we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
It's a first-class park. Now it's got
beautiful.
new AstroTurf.
That's
and
it.
all that.
I went there to meet up because the choir was singing the national anthem obviously, and so I went to go do like a walkthrough so I could see and got to see them working on it. They were getting it ready for the game and stuff like that, and it is nice.
Well, it's so beautiful.
It sits right on the water.
Yeah,
It was just, and that was the thing. I was shooting the video of me like, okay, kids, we're gonna go this way and walk, and I'm sitting there going, this is amazing. Like it was just so. It was a beautiful day. But then to see the new field and to walk on it and see that, and then I was up at the top and you get the whole with the bay in the background and stuff. It was just it's awesome. So I'm really hoping now that the field meets the MLB standards that potentially we could host some like spring training or something like that.
That would be cool.
That would be really awesome.
I don't know if you ever we not last couple of years, but we made several pilgrimages out to Phoenix for spring training, and that's kind of hard to beat out there.
Really? Yeah.
I am kind of a fan of Phoenix, Arizona, but it is that time of year, not in the summertime.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, temperatures over 100 and stuff.
At night.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, at night.
That's insane.
But it's a dry heat. Oh, I don't know what
that's
that's
right.
what
It's a
people
dry.
say.
Oh, that makes it better.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
feel it when it's dry.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
You just die of thirst.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, John, we've really enjoyed having you on the
enjoyed it.
podcast.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, this
Very
was
good.
good.
Fun.
It was was
lot of
good
fun.
sharing good stories, and we'll have to have you back sometime.
Okay.
There you go. It would be great. It would be great. So we'll wrap it up there. Coffee with the Kays. Be sure to check us out. Like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and subscribe if you're listening to us anywhere you get podcasts. Music in the intro and outro is brought to you by that guy right there, Ron K. And make sure that you check out his new singles that are out. We've got 2 Minutes of Your Time, Heart's Desire. I'm forgetting one. Is that it?
Just the memory.
Just the Memory.
There you
The
go.
one that you're
the
on.
one that I'm on, right? I should remember that one. I knew it was one. But it was just the memory.
Okay.
It is just Be sure to check those out. We're working on some new stuff. Working on a blues album, so we can't wait to get that out for you guys. But be sure to check out that. So have a great day and join us again next time for Coffee with the Kays.